It's Monday. I'm thinking it's morning.
Yeah, you're right, Darce. I'm here in the chopper, and it is looking macabre here on the 401.
Oh no, what's happening?
It is a scene to behold here, Darce. We got a 4-car pileup when the episode did not come out on time this morning.
That makes sense. I can't blame them for driving into each other.
Road rage is just, the number one killer in America.
Dodge Ram, brother.
Amen.
Guys,
Bill, Phil, is that hot enough for you? Dodge Ram? I know it's not a car, but...
Oh, shit, Phil. Are you all right?
He's
not feeling great. He's feeling a little sick today, so I didn't want to put him on the spot like that. Guys, welcome to Monday Morning Macabre. Apologies for the later than normal episode drop, but like I said, I got a 2-week-old baby boy. You know how hard that is? You know how hard it is to keep a schedule when he's just like wanting milk all the time? Come on.
Yeah, what is it? The milk all the time? And
hey, what do you want? What do you want?
You got some content coming to you. Don't worry.
Don't worry, Patreonies. We're aware we're behind on the Patreon. Again, I barely sleep, and I have a little tiny monster that needs help constantly. And I also have a baby.
Yeah. One of them's me.
Yeah, one of them's Scones. That was... I'm glad you clarified because I didn't want Jenny to think I was referencing her.
Nope, it's me.
So, again, new house, new baby. I'm moving boxes into their respective places while holding a small child. It's a whole damn vibe.
A little update in the Scones life. Definitely not where you're at as far as big life events, but I did go to an open house yesterday for a house.
Oh, shit.
And
really?
I was like, shit, this place smells like cat piss, and there's water damage everywhere.
So you put a fucking deposit down.
So I said, take my money.
Wait, I didn't know you were looking for houses, you freaking rascal.
Yeah,
flats.
Let's just say life is a highway.
Let's just gossip about our lives. No way. I love fucking Rascal Flats.
This is now a Rascal Flats podcast. What?
Hey, welcome to the Flat Rascals. Rascal Flats.
That's not a bad idea.
It's a terrible. What do you mean it's not a bad idea?
We have a built-in fan base. We could get listeners.
You're right. Hey, guys, do you want to listen to the Flat Rascals? Message us at rascalflats.com/contact. Let them figure it out.
It'll trickle its way to us somehow.
Yeah, that's Reaganomics, baby. Scones, what kind of house you looking at, baby?
Oh, I don't really know how to... A house that I like that's in my price range is essentially the style I'm going for.
That's a good... Dude, those are in right now.
I'm not a big, I don't care. I'm not it has to be a ranch, not a colonial or anything, but...
Yeah. You like imperialism.
For sure.
In your house. Is it in the state you're currently residing?
Yes, most likely.
Coolio. Why isn't it across the street from me? I feel kind of like...
I could be the crazy neighbor who's like, hey, Tim. And you can't see my face.
Yeah.
I'm peeking over the fence.
Oh, peek over my fence, Daddy. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Hinger dinger dargan.
So, like I said, I apologize, gang, for the delay. That's on me. That's a Darce thing. I hope you can understand, and if you can't, you should work on your empathy, baby.
Yeah, all the empaths out there solving the war in Ukraine right now.
If you an empath, say what?
What?
Sheesh. So Scones is a guy that's today. He's the today guy.
I am, and today I'm going to be bringing you suckers the story of Paul Bateson.
Dude, Paul Bateson? Jason Bateman's cousin?
No, he was one of the guys cast in the movie The Exorcist, who then became a murderer.
Ooh, Jason Bateman's cousin? I love Narcos. So if I just didn't know Jason Bateman.
Band, play the entry song to Narcos.
Play the Narcos intro. Do you think people are clamoring, going, it's not Narcos.
That's not Narcos.
It's Ozark.
They were.
This is my impression. Have you seen Ozark?
I've seen the first 2 episodes.
All right, this is my impression of Jason Bateman in Ozark. I just sometimes you just
we'll get you the money. I'm doing everything I can.
We'll get the money and don't you worry.
You just I feel like everyone has if you work in corporate America, you have someone in your workplace that talks like Jason Bateman.
Yeah, you got to
every good HR person talks like Jason.
Every HR you have to pass the bait boy test to be an HR person.
You're not a bait boy. Get out of here.
I'm a bait boy. I'm a B.
Anyway, what's new?
Bait
article
boy.
from All That's Interesting by Hannah McKenna, checked by Joanna Nix.
Yo, Hanny getting checked by Joanny? Sheesh.
Paul Bateson was in one of the most horrifying scenes of The Exorcist before becoming a murderer himself.
Who was he?
We'll get there. He was sentenced.
Am I jumping ahead? I think I jumped ahead. Who'd he kill? Who is he? How is he in jail? Let's wrap this thing up.
Him? He was sentenced to 20 years in prison for the murder of Addison Verrill. But he also...
Okay, we actually kind of did just get straight to that.
Yeah, kind of. But he also allegedly confessed to killing and dismembering 6 other men in the 1970s in New York.
Dude, that's just the 70s, man.
That's just New York
Free love.
That's just New York City in the 70s, dude. You kidding me?
You haven't been to NYC, brother. Sheesh.
When Paul Bateson joined the cast of the 1973 horror classic, The Exorcist, he was still just a radiology technot.
Technot? A radiology technot? Oh, God, Scone, stop.
He was still just a radiology technician with an affinity for leather bars in Greenwich Village. I don't know what that means.
Do they mean leather bars as in like leather, like bar being a social club?
I'm guessing so. Like all the booths are really nice leather.
I think it's more of like leather, people wearing leather that's their like thing. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I think the bars, like their rap game is so good. It's tough, like leather, and it lasts a long time.
It's tough. Yeah. It's like cowhide. That makes sense. I think you're right.
Only a few years later, however, his late night outings would turn sinister, resulting in at least one murder in New York City and perhaps many more.
Bum, bum, boom. Hacker.
In 1972, director William Friedkin observed an angiogram before being performed in the New York University Radiology Lab while scouting extras for his upcoming film, The Exorcist.
Are you a listener whose name is Angela and you want a new Instagram handle? There you go.
You're welcome.
Angiogram.
When he witnessed the cinematic spray of blood that resulted from the procedure, he knew that he had to have it in his movie. He asked all of the medical professionals in the room to act as extras in the film, including radiology technician Paul Bateson.
That's interesting.
The Exorcist is supposedly cursed. 9 people connected with the film, including cast, crew, and their close family, died during production or soon after the film. If you want to know more about that...
talked about that, yeah, I was going to say.
Check out our movies episode, which I don't remember if it's a normal ep or a Patreon. I think it's a Patreon ep.
I think it's a Patreon.
It's a Patreon. So if you want to know more about those other people, get on over there. Come on.
You subscribe to Patreon. It's only $48 a day.
One of the actors in the film... in the most disturbing scene, a scarily accurate angiogram, later became a convicted murderer and suspected serial killer. As Dr. Barton Lane from the radiology lab described Paul Bateson, he was the most experienced and he was the best. He taught me an awful lot and I considered him a good friend. I didn't realize until many years later that he had killed the man. I thought it was bizarre. I just had absolutely no idea.
I thought it was bizarre. Just a quirky thing to do.
What a weird thing, dude. Just like go hang out with your friends while you murdering people.
Yeah, he does puzzles and kills people. He's bizarre.
He knits. What guy knits, right? And he kills people.
He knits and also homicide tendencies, but like, come on, who doesn't?
The murder of Addison Verrill and the arrest of Paul Bateson. In the 1970s, Paul Bateson was a gay man living in Borough Park, Brooklyn, commuting to Manhattan for work. And if you tell you what, that's not a fun commute.
Hey, I would have gone fucking crazy too.
Hey, at least he's not going out to Staten Island. Whoa.
The boroughs, baby.
And to explore the S&M and leather subcultures of Greenwich Village. I'm starting to think you were right, Darce.
I think I was.
I think you won.
Ding, ding, ding. I'm the big winner. I won an all-expense-paid trip to an S&M leather club in New York City.
Listeners, when you're a dad, you just know stuff about stuff. You just have to.
Yeah, exactly. I need to know it's midnight. Where's my kid?
Someday Darce is going to have a kid in middle school working on their math homework saying, Dad, I need help. Yep. And he's going to be like, how can I help? And they're going to be like, what's a leather club? And you're going to be like, oh boy.
Sit down, kid.
Flip on episode
back to
number, whatever this is.
I think we have over 150 episodes now, by the way.
That's insane to me.
Isn't that fucking crazy that we're both still alive?
I don't think I deserve to like have that much of me talking in a place where people can get it.
Amen, brother.
He was also
that's gonna be my epitaph.
He was also an alcoholic, drinking at least a quart of vodka a day, and couldn't put. Why'd you say hey?
I don't know. This is just more dad stuff.
Drank at least a quart of vodka a day and couldn't hold down a job for very long, according to
all the stuff.
According to a 1977 interview he did at Rikers Island, Bateson picked up his drinking habit in the army while stationed in Germany, quote, because there was not that much to do.
That's such a crazy... What the fuck?
A couple of years after working on The Exorcist in 1973, he was fired from his hospital gig and made money doing odd jobs like cashiering at a porn theater and cleaning apartments.
Throwing his hat and cutting things with it?
Ladies and gentlemen,
does that reference make sense?
Where are the flowers? Get him the flowers.
Yay!
Get him the awards.
It was kind of a real clunky one.
No, it was good. Keep it in.
You guys know James Bond? You know Odd Job? Okay.
You know, like an old, yeah.
Yeah, you know, like a 70s villain? We want to talk about Jaws? We can do that.
Then, in September 1977, 4 years after working on The Exorcist, a man named Addison Verrill was found beaten and stabbed to death in his Greenwich Village apartment. He had been a reporter for Variety and was also a member of the gay community. When his murder received hardly any attention from the local press, Village Voice journalist Arthur Bell called out the media's complete apathy toward the lives of gay men. Quote, we're all aware that there are psychopaths roaming the streets of New York, and they don't advertise their intentions on their t-shirts. When they zero in on gay men, the sentiment often expressed is they brought it on themselves, which is so sad and fucked up.
Super fucked up. That's the same as like what were you wearing? That's the same deal.
Yeah. It's almost as like, I don't know. That's insane. Like the thought process of jumping from they're gay, they deserve to be killed by serial killers, yes. Like is such a jump.
That it is pretty like the
evidence is there, bro. I'm straight and I've never been killed by a serial killer.
Oh no.
But that's like the logic they're at.
Yeah, they're like, well, if they liked girls, like what? Doesn't make any sense.
Each year, he continued, there are approximately 4 sexually oriented murders of gay men in the Greenwich Village area. Seldom do the papers report the crimes. Not all of the killers are apprehended. Often witnesses are afraid to speak up because of their closet status.
Is this still today or in the 70s?
I hope the 70s, but either way, if it's today, why are you living in Greenwich Village?
True. When you're not, why couldn't you could be in Jersey City, baby.
Baby. Days after Bell's article was published, he received a call. I killed Addison, the anonymous caller said. Look, I like your story and your writing, but I'm not a psychopath. So the killer calls in to clear that out.
Very cool. Very cool thing of him.
This mystery man went on to tell Bell that he had met Verrill at Badlands, a gay bar on Christopher Street, where they partied until 3 a.m. After that, they stopped at a gay BDSM club called Mineshaft before heading to Verrill's studio apartment. At 7:30 a.m., they had sex. That's when things took a turn.
Uh-oh.
Also, Mineshaft is an amazing name for a club.
I was also thinking, like, gay clubs have some names.
Something hit me, said the call. Yeah, it's not just like Johnny's.
Yeah, it's never like, Halligan's.
It's like usually like a piece of like mechanical equipment or like something on a construction site.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Something hit me, said the caller. Addison hadn't been reciprocal. It wasn't just the sex act itself that wasn't reciprocal. It was the soul act too. I wanted a lasting thing, something that would go beyond sex into friendship, a lover, or marriage. This is the caller, so the murderer is saying this.
Yeah, it's just he went from sex to friendship, which seems like he went from C to A.
Don't get this guy on Too Hot to Handle. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, love is blind, baby.
Hey, I mixed those. I have a significant other. No big deal. But she, guys, it's no big deal. But
Scones has a girlfriend.
Stop,
guys.
dude.
Yeah, dudes, get in here.
And no serial killer is ever going to get me. But
unless she's the killer.
Ooh. She's a killer. Queen. Speaking of, yeah. I bet Queen probably played in Mineshaft. And so the caller decided to do something I'd never done before. He went to the kitchen, found a frying pan, and knocked Addison over the head.
Why?
Then I went Then I went into a drawer at the right-hand side of the kitchen, removed a knife, and stuck it into Addison's chest. I plunged it too high. I should have stuck it in a bit more towards the center left. So, Jesus. I don't know what that means. I mean, the guy's already dead.
He missed his heart?
Yeah, but he already killed him.
Well, he hit him in the head with a frying pan.
Kill him better?
And if cartoons have taught me anything, that just makes his face flat and look funny.
Oh, yeah, and so the birds start flying around his head?
Yeah, exactly. He just had, he was dizzy and the birds were flying around his head. So then he had to take the knife and plunge it into his heart.
Yeah, Looney Tunes really made light of CTE. After he killed Verrill.
New podcast. We're shutting this one down. We're going to get into the real.
I want to cancel Looney Tunes.
CTE. Imagine if we were we're going to start Mothers Against Looney Tunes.
Dude, Wile E. Coyote probably doesn't know where he fucking is anymore, dude, at his age.
If you guys want to join Malt, just hit us up in the DMs, Mothers Against Looney Tunes, and we'll figure it out. We'll get down to the bottom.
Drink fucking Colt 45s and talk about.
I don't know why we're drinking Colt 45.
Oh, because it's malt liquor.
Oh, I see, my dear boy.
And it all comes together. No, I actually wish I didn't give you any context. I wish we just were drinking Colt 45s. To save money, Dars.
Yeah, it's cheaper, bro.
After he killed Verrill, the man
trying to buy a house.
After he killed Verrill, the man stole $57, a master charge card, Verrill's passport, and some of his clothes. He then left to buy alcohol. This was NYPD's first
That's
evidence.
a new noise I'm introducing into the show.
I like it.
Thank you.
This was NYPD's first evidence in the Addison Verrill murder. Later that same night, Bell got another call. This time, the man on the other end was not the murderer, but someone who knew who he was. Uh-oh. He identified the killer as Paul Bateson, an unemployed alcoholic, former X-ray technician.
Hey!
He reported that Bateson had called him to confess as well. He had to share his experience with somebody, the caller had said. When the police brought Bateson into custody, he gave a statement similar to the one he gave Bell on the phone. As one detective told Bell, everything matches. He also admitted that he phoned you, and he led us to Verrill's missing passport and credit cards. But during his trial in 1979, Paul Bateson claimed that he had been drunk when he gave this confession, and that he was not the man who originally called Bell. He maintained his innocence, saying to the judge, "I still contend that I am not guilty of the crimes, and I am not the person described by Mr. Hoyt at all. I feel a great loss for Mr. Verrill, and I am not the type at all person he has described me as."
Sounds like he fucking goofed when he was drunk.
He hit him with the old hezzy hay.
He hit him with the old frying pan. And now,
when you're really pranking your buds in college and you're like, I'm a murderer. Psych.
And you're like, I killed everybody and I'm really drunk. So obviously it's not true.
Judge Goldman, however, would sentence him to 20 years in prison anyway. During this trial, Paul Bateson came under more suspicion than simply the Addison Verrill murders. As it turned out, there had been quite a few murders of gay men in Greenwich Village in the years leading up to his arrest.
So this dude's been praying.
He'd been around. For 2 years, mutilated and dismembered body parts had been washed up along the Hudson River wrapped in black plastic
it's just the Hudson,
bags.
Baby.
It's just the New York fauna and flora, baby.
Yeah, it's just autumn in New York, baby. That's in the tourist commercials where they're like, come to upstate New York. See the trash bag body parts.
See a show on Broadway.
Have you seen Central Park?
Hamilton's crazy.
Also another shot of an arm.
Police traced some of their recovered clothing to a shop in Greenwich Village that catered to gay men in the leather subculture. Other than that, the bodies could never be identified, nor was a murder pinpointed. These murders, coined the bag murders, because no one in the precinct was original, began in 1975 and would end in 1977. While in custody, Paul Bateson reportedly bragged to a friend that he had killed and dismembered multiple men. As prosecutor William Holt told the judge of Bateson's sentencing, he told Mr. Ryan that killing is easy, that getting rid of the bodies is the hard part. He said that he cuts up his victims and puts the parts in plastic bags to dispose of them. But there was no direct evidence connecting Bateson to the murders. The judge concluded that these 6 additional crimes were, quote, too ephemeral to have any connection to this case. The 6 bag murders remain unsolved to this day. But do they? That but do they is me being like, no, I think he did it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that doesn't seem unsolved. That sounds solved.
The opposite.
This sounds like second degree solved. In my book.
It's beta solved. It's the next.
Yeah, it's the next generation of solved.
It's
Sigma grind set solved.
When director William Friedkin heard about Paul Bateson's trial, he went to visit him in jail. According to Friedkin, Bateson had said that he has been thinking about confessing to these 6 murders in exchange for a reduced penalty. Which I don't know how that works.
Yeah,
it's like
how reduced is it going to be?
3 life sentences instead of 4.
Down to 1.5. Like,
he said, I remember killing this one guy. I cut him up and I put his body parts in a plastic bag and threw it in the East River, Friedkin recalls Bateson saying, albeit decades after the fact, on the Hollywood Reporter podcast. Well, this is how they got him. At the bottom of the bag, in very small print that you can't even read, it says, property of NYU Medical Center, Neuropsychiatric Center. He said, that's the only one I remember, but they want me to confess to another 5 or 6. The conversation inspired Friedkin's next film, Cruising, starring Al Pacino. Loosely based on Gerald Walker's novel of the same name, it's about a police officer who goes deeply undercover to solve a string of murders of gay men in the West Village in the 1970s.
Okay.
The film was reviled in the gay community for its conflation of homosexuality and violence. Bell himself wrote that it would surely be the most oppressive, ugly, bigoted look at homosexuality ever presented on screen.
Pog.
More than 1,000 people marched to Greenwich Village to protest the film's release.
Good.
You never really hear that about Al Pacino's career.
Yeah, you don't.
I don't hear about Cruising a lot.
Cruising. Crazy Taxi.
Baba Booey. The film was released, however, to mixed reviews.
Oh, you don't say.
As for Paul Bateson, he was released
good
on
and
parole.
great.
My favorite and my second favorite. No. As for Paul Bateson, he was released on parole on August 25th, 2003, after serving more than 23 years behind bars. 5 years later, his parole ended. So he was out. He was out cruising.
He was out. I hate how often they're out cruising.
Well, he may have passed away in 2012, but no one knows for sure as he disappeared from headlines after his trial in 1979. So he can still be out there.
Oh, don't say it ain't so scony.
That is... Oh, nope, just kidding.
Oh, shit.
That is until 2019 when the Netflix hit series Mindhunter brought his story back to life. Oh. During the 6th episode of the 2nd season, 2 members of the FBI visit Paul Bateson in prison in order to interview him about his crime or crimes.
Oh, I remember that guy.
I don't, because I don't think I got that far. But anyway, in the show,
real good.
Bateson admits to Verrill's murder and makes a few profound and disturbing statements, including, love is violence. Sex is violence. Every interaction is violence. It's just a matter of scale. But he continues to deny any connection to the bag murders. They keep trying to get me for those. Gay guy into leather, he says. So imaginative.
So are they're just quoting Mindhunter at this point?
Well, yeah, it's talking about how, like, his story finally got, like, picked up after 1979. And it's,
I know, but were those quotes by him or were those quotes by the actor who played him in Mindhunter?
By the actor. So I think they're interpretations of how the people who do the research for Mindhunter see this.
Gotcha.
So that's the story. And definitely a little bit of a pointing out the bias to which American media reports crimes.
For sure.
Like how there was like a global manhunt after, not global, but like a nationwide manhunt for what happened a couple months ago. She died and they were looking for her boyfriend.
Oh, yeah.
And like Dog the Bounty Hunter got involved. Anyway, there was a lot of talk about that whole kind of bias with that case and stuff like that. So, And also pretty crazy about how influential this dude was that he like influenced an Al Pacino movie. You know?
Yeah.
After being in another, like, one of the most famous movies ever. And was a terrible person.
You know, I feel like I don't know how we managed to keep talking about terrible people. It just keeps happening somehow.
They just keep popping up on my feed.
They just keep popping up. I don't understand.
Mr. Papanopoulos. What if we just did an episode one day of just like a really good guy?
Yeah, just Mr. Rogers. People would, dude, so many people would click that though. They'd be like,
True.
what the fuck did
Maybe
Mr.
we're onto
Rogers
something.
do?
We should do that for April Fool's
Ooh.
episode. Baba Booey.
Baba Booey.
We're just going to steal that from Howard Stern.
It's ours now, Howard. Come
Sorry,
fight us for it.
Howard.
Sorry,
Baba
Howie.
Booey.
Baba Booey, baby.
What if we got in trouble? We
guys.
owe him like $5,000 every time we say it.
I would be like, hey, fuck you. Please no.
He needs the money, Dars.
I need the cash for babies. Thanks for listening, guys, to another episode. Again, apologize for the late delay. Patreon people, we haven't forgotten about you. We're getting there. I just need to be able to find time between being asleep and being a walking zombie, and then we'll get right back on track for you, gang. As always, find us on Twitter at MMMacabrePod.
Hell
Instagram,
yeah.
Monday Morning Macabre. Can I get a hell yeah?
Hell yeah.
And MondayMorningMacabre.com for merch and Patreon info if you want to get extra, like an extra season's worth of macabre content from young Sheldon and younger Sheldon here. You know where to find it. It's there. It's on the Patreon. It's cheap.
all there.
It's nice. And I mean, besides that, scones, have a good Monday.
Baba Booey.
Baba Booey. Goodbye.